Welcome to the Late Sesh Live. I'm Skilbo and he is Red Setter, and we are glad that you are here tonight. I'm puffing on a little bit of Blue Dream that I got from Finger Lakes Finest over the weekend. I gotta say, I'm loving this. Red, what's going on tonight?
Oh man, it's a great Monday. So far, so good. Well, I mean, really, it's the end of the Monday, but so far, so good to the beginning of this week, I should say. Cheers, chat. Cheers, cannabis community. Anybody, everybody tuning in tonight and throughout the week, throughout ever. Had a great weekend. Got an awesome time to hang out with some people, including you there, Scobo, and a whole bunch of Groskis and everybody. I'm gonna eventually get logged into chat and say hello to everybody here, but until then, I'm going to be breaking down some Death Star tonight, switching it up, and I'm ready to get on puffing here with everybody. So cheers.
So far, we got 9 people hanging out with us. I see Red Eye Rustler was first, followed by Bad Bunny Nutrients. It was good to see them both over the weekend. And we have Gabe's EVEOC. Narwhal, cheers, brother. What's up? Dab Goblin, Great Lakes Grows. How you doing? Oh, Lake Unsalted Life. We got to see her and hang out with her 2 days in a row. And I want to give her a shout out on this dope ass shirt right here. I'm gonna stand up real quick. This is from, obviously, this is a green shirt on green screen. This is from the Cupboard, one of my favorite glass shops in Cincinnati, Ohio. I used to go there a lot when I was a very young Skilbo smoker. So it was really a great birthday gift from her and from Tara. So
Scobo's playing the role of the floating head, or as I like to call it, the Cheshire Cat.
Jambi,
Very awesome.
Jambi. We also have Green 13, cheers, and Ohio Gas. See, showing Ohio some love there. You know what I mean? Cannabis knows no boundaries. Michigan native, cheers. How you doing tonight? Terry, you missed your segment already. 2 minutes in. That's good. That's Blue Dreams got me chatty.
Speaking of chat and chatty, chat, if you're hanging out with us, go ahead and click that live chat. It's up there where it says top chat. Drop down box, click live chat. And as always, I popped it out and I am in live chat this time. So
Oh shit.
yeah, but usually, man, I click live chat and then I do the pop out thing and then it switches back over to default top chat and then I don't
Oh,
realize till halfway through the show.
yeah.
Yep, yep. Do as I say, not as I do type thing. But
Red
anyways,
always
I
has
got
the
it into live chat
PSAs.
tonight, so I'm with everybody. I'm with it tonight.
It's with it, folks.
Got some
We're in
Tekken
for a
T
treat.
and Death Star and Ray Rock and Roll. Skibble, how's your day, man?
Dude, I've
What you
been
been up to?
chilling. I've been recovering, really. I was lucky enough to have today off as well. So I was like, well, fuck it. We could go full bore and just have a good old time. Today, I've done nothing but transplant some clones that I had in the oxycloner, threw those in some dirt, and that's pretty much it. Smoke a lot of the really good stuff that I got from people. So, like I said, I started off with a little bit of Blue Dream that I got from Finger Lakes Finest. The other things that I have is I really, really like this Wolf Mother 9, which its Wolf Mother was his number 9 from Ocean Grown. Really like the nose on this, so I've got that I've got to check out still. Michigan Medicated, bless her, was nice enough to gift me some of this wonderful, wonderful Bridezilla. It's just so dense. It smells so good. Cheers, M2. And
Cheers,
then
broski.
let's see, I have Abolished came through and dropped some of the grow off plant that he finished, which is the, we were calling it the other strain, so we're just gonna call it the grow off strain. But I mean, you just open the jar and this thing blasts you in the face. He had 3 phenos, and I got to smell all of them, and so I decided to take his number 2 pheno, and I was really really happy with it. So I used this as my official first wake and bake, um, and it was like very mellow, very peaceful, just like easy smoke. It was really, really well done. And I'm excited to see what the other people are able to find in their packs. And then, of course, Red did me the blessing, and he knows that I talk about it all the time. So he dropped some of this rainbow driver on me. So that's going to get its own special wake and bake because we had joked before that that I needed to try it for a wake and bake. So in
Yep.
all
Well,
the
it's
time that
just
I've been,
oh, sorry, not to cut you off. It's just a little farmer's little head stash. So there's probably some leaves on it. There's probably some larf and some stem, and
that's how we
get you
roll.
high though.
Yeah. So while I've been rambling, I want to welcome Don Silent. See, Tara, I welcomed you. We have uh, Light Up Again, Tim. Good evening. How you doing? Trey, cheers again. Good to see you as always. 2 times in one day. GB, what's up? Big Bud Shepherd, hey, hey. And we have Beardman Farm 616. Cheers, brother. Cranberry Kush Farms. It was an excellent time at the float. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Dro, cheers. Dro almost stole the show when we had our party on Saturday, and he wasn't even there. He has some lemon Jeffrey, this Irie Genetics, that he let Tara have. So Tara brought some of it for us. And just popping the jar was one
I
of the
actually got to
most.
roll some of that, dude.
Did you? Okay, so the
Yeah.
intenseness of that lemon was like insane for flower.
Not
It's almost like
not that one.
concentrate. No, not the one
The
you
other
had.
one. No. I got to smell them both, but I got to roll like the I don't know spicy floral
Yeah, the spicy
type of
floral
one.
one. Mm-hmm.
There was so that lemon one just reminds me of the lemon diesel that I have almost
Oof.
to
Yeah,
the
man.
T, almost identical to the lemon sour diesel that I have. But
Mention that for
very
your wake and
reminiscent.
bakes.
It's really nice, really, dude. Surprisingly enough, for me personally, I don't know how it hits other people. For me personally, it can tend to like make me a little sleepy. It's good for wake and bake and stuff, but if I hit it midday, it kind of puts me out. I try not to smoke it too often. But the dude, it's reminiscent of like old Chernobyl to me slightly. It's like kind of like that similar profile to me.
Really bright, you know what I
Chernobyl I
mean?
had was a little more on the limey, which I followed up with the Citrique by Exotics that I currently am running uh, in production right now. But dude, I love that profile, and if I always try to keep something in that like lemon lime range that's not too lemon. You know what I mean? I really like the margarita lime, um,
Oh yeah.
side of some of those. I don't know. I don't really want to call them sativas. A lot of them kind of stay short and squat. I don't know how that lemon Jeffrey grows, but
Not
like
sure.
my I'm sorry guys, my volume was really down. I'm sure that needed to be cranked up a little bit, so it was probably very mumbly. I don't know if the lemon Jeffrey grows short and squat, but the Pinots that I've had that are lime, especially the Citrique, like hardly stretches.
Short.
The lemon sour diesel didn't really stretch either. Like they'd bush out, they'd grow big plants, but the coal is bottle size, but as far as height, it just really wasn't a big stretcher, which is nice, as far as like sativa esque growing goes. By the way, fire smoke, man. Cheers, shout out, Dro. Got a good chance to roll up that other pheno. I did a little back roll on it, red cider farm back roll, and because it was only like there may have been a half a gram, may have been maybe a 0.4, 3.4 or something like that.
It went quick.
So it was, yeah, and I didn't want it to be mostly paper, so I did a little back roll on it and was able to shed half of a zigzag off of that. So made it very nice and flavorful. Shout out Dro, man. Nice stuff, dude. I dig it. And I apologize. I didn't really get a chance to smoke a lot of people's stuff. I'm just still not in the mode for like sharing saliva or anything yet, But I'll get there eventually. I was more than happy to roll two and pass one on of my stash while I chiefed between Mrs. Redden and myself. But otherwise, thank you all very much for offering. And yeah, man, it was
They
such an
count as a
excellent
yeah,
time.
man. Does
That totally counts as a yeah, man.
Okay, right.
Yeah, man.
So I want to carry up and say, cheers to that 420 wife. It's good to see you on here. She's been making the crushing memes and getting in the meme war with us between the wake and bake and the late sesh. She's here to try to get ammunition on us, Red. Cheers to
I
Spartan.
caught the itch today.
He was with us yesterday for the float and the after party. Always great. Like I said, uh, some of the best stuff that I got was the snow cane, and the snow cane is just phenomenally dense. Got to give a huge shout out. Look at this. Let me see if I can play the game here with it.
Man, I finally got to hang out, have a nice little one-on-one with Spartan, and but it was a group gathering, but for more than like a 2 minute sit down like at some of the other sessions,
Sure.
where it was dude, Spartans just like is if we were all sitting here running a sesh. That's
Same
Spartan
dude.
in real life.
Same dude.
Same dude.
Exactly.
Same dude. All
It's
you
the
guys. You're all
everybody.
same.
Everybody's the same though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
it's
it's
awesome.
not.
It's
I
really
don't know.
cool. That's why I find myself being able to hang out with this whole group of
Motley Crue.
tokers, smokers, and all you guys. Pretty awesome people. Yes.
I want to say cheers to Bindu Buds. How's it going this evening? Birdwatcher made it excellent. And we have who else? Beardman. We already got you. Tried to catch me slipping already. If I missed you, Smash Cannabis. Cheers. I seen you earlier this evening too. Um, yeah, man. Jason, what's happening? So we have 48 people chilling with us right now, and you're hearing about the misadventures of the Mish Bros Grow Show and our get together. So basically, we were able to get together with a lot of our friends from the grow off that we're doing with 2020 Mendocino. So over the weekend, we got to see, let's see, on Friday, I know that Tara was able to hang out with Normish and Dan. And who else did you hang out with up there? Was it Dro? Yeah, you hung out with Dro. Then on Saturday, we all got together at Doc's house and had a great time. Sequence was setting off fucking massive ass fireworks and shit. Neighbor comes over. So I'll let him tell that story when we do a bro show live. Um, I was running the grill, hooking up the food, so shit was proper. And then some day we did the float down, we did the Argo Cascades, and just you know, easy, lazy day, man. So we're in the recovery mode right now. I definitely got the sunburn more than the suntan. The Irish blood runs deep in this guy. Um, but everybody had like some kind of float or something. If you haven't checked on Sequence's page, go see what he was riding around on. Definitely stealing the show with that. And I brought the SS Skill Bow, which was a $40 raft with some paddles and shit, and
Dude, that
proceeded.
thing looked like it was easily from like 1992. I'm sure
It
it's
was great.
new. I'm
It's
sure it's
brand
like
new. Yeah, it's
brand
just a
new,
cheap ass, brand new $30
but
boy.
it's totally like the same model as like I had when I was a little kid.
Yep.
Everybody had. It's totally awesome. That thing's been around forever, dude. You can't change that model float, man. You just cannot change it.
No,
No need to. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's such an awesome little dinghy,
the
dude.
unicorn. Yep, there you go. So it was a really good time, and it was really nice to be able to see so many people that we talk to all the time and to meet them in person. And I guess that's one of the things is that the cannabis community for the 21st century is affording people is the ability to meet people that you wouldn't normally meet and to actually build friendships with people, which is just awesome to me.
That was a big thing I was talking about with Miss Red was how, like, really none of us knew each other. I was like, nobody knows anybody here. Like, a couple of us have kind of met here and there. Like, you've met a couple of people, a couple of you got, but I didn't really know anybody there. I mean, I've hardly met a couple of people on the panel in person. You know, but otherwise it was like almost like we all knew each other for the most part. It's like once you introduce like your screen name or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, okay, cool, yeah, totally match your face with your name, and then the connection goes back, and it's all there, and it was a great time, man. There was no awkwardness or anything. It was a total blast, and I hope that anybody who is maybe a type B personality or somebody who's shy like myself, is able to step out and join us recluses sometimes, man, because that's how it is. There's it's a whole bunch of you know it's
You
strange.
could have
I'm like
definitely
a
been Hermit Hash too, bro. You really
yeah,
have that
totally.
trait in you to just go. You're a good dude, but you can pull a little fade and a ghost on people. I'm gonna grind up some of this snow cane just because it smells so damn good when I had the jar off a minute ago. Cheers, Spartan. Nice work, brother.
Yeah, it was an excellent gathering with a lot of excellent people, and that's the most important part about it is good people. Surrounding ourselves with good people, Nobody did anything crazy to really set the group out as being a nuisance or anything. I mean, nobody spoke ill words or anything, man. It was just a great time. In fact, speaking of ill, I mean, shit, man, the last like 10 minutes, last 20 minutes of the float was dead silence. Everybody was properly medicated. Like the sunshine and the edibles and the smoke did the trick, man.
Oh my
And I
god,
mean,
dude. Yeah.
by the end, everybody
Well,
was just
Abolish was whipping the Kool-Aids
enjoying
around,
the moments.
and he
Yes.
had the short boy of the medicated Kool-Aids. I had two at their house before we left, and then I think I had three on the float. I had a Spartan cookie, and that was kicking in nicely right about when you're saying it was like, oh yeah, man. And Chief and Strong the whole time. Red is cracking me up. I was laughing with him because I look over Red's with Miss Red, and he's got his trimmers out and he's trimming. I said, "What the fuck are you doing, Red?" He goes, "Man, I never get a day off. I'm trimming orders." He was like, "Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just trimming up." But that's pretty ballsy when you're riding around in a inflated watercraft and you're smoking. You could get the cherry ash to fall off. You get the Fiskars. Red likes to live dangerously.
Yeah, dude, I should have been riding with broken glass shards in my pockets or something as well. It was pretty exciting, to say the least, with the scissors and the cherries and oh man, it was cool. Yeah, I don't know. I used to use grinders many moons ago, and I know that they're of better quality, and I know that they're of just they've been of better quality than what I used to even get a decade ago or so. I would always get like the metal flakes and shit, and it just really turned me off to like grinders. And I know that it was because I was using cheap grinders, but at the same time, I just could never wrap my head around the metal and the weed and the grinding, and so I'd started, and it's the same probably deal with the scissors. I'm sure that there's some kind of a wear and a tear on scissors also, um, but at the same time, it's just nowadays it's just a preference thing. I find myself just quickly chopping it up, grinding it up nice and smooth and fine. Shredder, Redwood scissors hands. I dig it. Very nice. Cheers, everybody.
Right now, people don't know, but Skilbo is a fucking grinder aficionado. So I do have to take up
Yes.
for the other side of the story, which is you're right. If you buy something that isn't machined properly or something that is of poor quality, you will possibly get flakes from things because they're grinding together. But at the same time, if you step up into the really expensive ones, like let's say a really good Santa Cruz, like I noticed the difference between this giant ass Santa Cruz. Oh, look, this is doubly cool. So I have a green shirt on and I have a green grinder. So let's just make that name you were watching, folks. The late sesh. One more time. The late sesh. So you can definitely
Yes, you
find
can.
grinders. Got to do cheap, stupid shit like that. Get a quick laugh. But you will find that you don't have anything like that because the teeth never actually touch. If they touch, they would just stop. You know what I'm saying? It would jam up. So I understand. I have friends that do it every which way. I have people who still break it down with their fingers. So, oh, we got Yeti Stash in the house. Cheers. If you didn't get a chance, you can catch his episode that we did as a podcast premiere on YouTube this evening. I believe it was episode 33 is what that comes out as. I haven't done shoutouts for a second. I do have to say, Spartan, this is absolutely delicious. We have 64 people, so I'm going to say cheers, 64.
Cheers, 64.
We go back to where I was. Keep going, Red. You got
What's
this.
up, stoners? What's up, Green Colton? Birdwatcher, what's happening? Hey, speaking of bird watching, did you see the hawk like teaching its babies to fly? It
Yes.
was the coolest thing,
Yeah.
coolest fucking thing. And then
Did
all
you
of a
see
sudden
that
the
big
babies
ass heron
they were just
fly?
riding it.
Like at the very
Yeah,
beginning, there was like that heron that
yeah.
flew over. I was like, oh, that's
I was
so
like, don't
fucking
shit
cool.
on me, don't shit him, don't shit him.
When we were going over that first rapids, they had some bully ducks and some Canadian geese that were standing up there, like, and the SS Skilbo started to go towards the fucking iceberg, and this thing was fucking hissing at me as I went by. I was like, so of course, there's always got to be some kind of silliness.
I guess I'll shout out our local fun spot right there in Ann Arbor, which was pretty cool. So that uh, the cascades that they have right there. It's like a series of little tide pools, right?
Yeah.
Little like locks and tide pools, little waterfalls, and there's like I don't know 5 or 6 of them, but they're really bizarre because all the water is like kind of forced in one direction, but it's a big wide pool. So at some point the water's always like circling around and almost like a big whirlpool type. So at one point, like our tube kind of missed the entrance to like the waterfall, and it just kind of like kept going around this big. We kind of got stuck in the whirlpool until we made it all the way around the entire thing and went sucked back out, you know. And then at one time, I kind of got stuck going upstream like a fucking salmon. I didn't know how this was happening, but I mean, the laws of physics are
I
very
get off on the
strange.
side too, dude. If you get off on the side, it starts pulling you towards where the last one is. And you're like, oh, bro, this sucks.
Yeah, it was really cool, really interesting.
I want to give a shout out to Jack Greenstock. What's up, brother? Nova, cheers.
Hell yeah, because I love it. Fellow scissor hand chopper.
That's how you got to do it, man. Infinity 420, what's up?
It keeps me fresh.
Keep it fresh, keep it exciting. Um, yeah, man, I fucking definitely got sunburned though, so I was using the roller ball and also some aloe on that. They like taking the sting out of it. I made a joke earlier in the week. I was talking about lashing the different things together so you can just have a lazy float. So I brought two rope ratchets with me, brand new ones, never used them for anything before. I just had extra ones in the cupboard. So I had it where like all kinds of people were just like clipped in and off and through the handles and shit for it. Worked out really well. So if you're ever in a pinch, make sure you carry some rope ratchets around.
I did notice that a couple people had rope ratchets to tie off their tubes. I was pretty impressed by that little. So I'm guessing those must be yours.
Stoner ingenuity.
Very awesome, dude. Oh shoot! You got. Sorry about that, world. That was terrible. I didn't think that was gonna happen. You guys hate me for that. That was probably. I hate. If anybody has microphones, or headphones, I apologize.
Eh.
I was hearing a crackle, so I went to kind of go plug in my cable a little, but I wasn't holding my mic, so I kind of pushed the whole thing out of the sleeve. Sorry, guys. Anyways, yeah. Man, I almost sat on those white ducks that are just kind of sitting there and totally used to humans, and so I just thought they were rocks, and I'm just kind of willy nilly, just kind of wandering around, and no, they were duck. They were like geese.
Yeah, it's those little ducks that were fucking swimming around us. It was
Right there, yeah.
Mama Duck and the two babies. Yeah. Jack said, "My ears."
Sorry, guys. I know, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Newbie problems. Newbie problems. Sorry, Jack.
Cheers, Aldridge.
You're working in the garden right now. My apologies. I hope you didn't just spill water all over your floor or overwater your plants or something. You're terrible. It's my fault.
Dude, speaking of gardens, so I have been switched over to using the 240-watt quantum boards, and my plants are probably in the third week of flower now. And when I walk into the room every day, I'm just blown away. It's like I was telling Sequence before we started the show here. I said, just fucking amazes me that all the times that I did this before, all the years of doing it, that really the difference was just some goddamn lights. Now, granted, I have installed the blue mats, so I think that those are also contributing quite a bit now. And it's funny because when I walk in, I'll be like, damn, there's never any water actually in the blue mat hose when I'm looking at it. But when I'll go at the end of the night, it'll have drank like 3 gallons of water, and there's a lid on it. So I know it's drinking it. It's just kind of weird.
Now, how consistent is the spread on that? Is it all dumping like right when it hits the drip line, or is there an even spread all the way across that tape, or is it just going out the beginning and the end of the tape?
I
Or
think
are you
it's
able to
it's a,
know
it's 100% would be around it
all the
if I
way
could
around?
ever catch them discharging like that. It's like a Tyvek material is what I always think of it as, man. It's
So
kind
it
of weird.
like permeates, it like
Yeah.
absorbs,
Hmm.
permeates through the whole thing.
Yep. And it's just using the carrots as it's telling it when it needs to be watered and stuff. And then
That's
I'll
pretty
stick my
cool.
finger down a couple inches and make sure that
Yeah.
everything's good. Yeah. See, Spartan said he ate 3 Spartan cookies,
Mhm.
drank a regular strength. FSO Kool-Aid and a double strength. Yeah, I told you those red ones were
Yeah, the
fucking it,
deep
man.
reds. The deep reds were the double strength. Yep.
Well,
Yeah, that's
yes,
I sipped on mine and it kind of like took my time and drank it throughout the entire float.
smashed them like espressos, man.
Finished it before we left for the
I tell
after
you,
party.
at the after party though, I gotta admit, it was the first time that I've seen me, Sequence, and Spartan all fucking slid. Just like totally sitting back, stupid ass cartoons on fucking TV, faded.
Well, we might as well just bring up the fact that I believe last night was the first ever uh bro show live that was not live. We had
Way too many
we had
people
a
at the party
show
still,
we
yeah.
had a show on our own, we were
Yeah.
all just kind of doing our own thing without broadcasting, which was nice, man. We were able to be in the moment for a change and do our thing, you know. We apologize to anybody who was maybe put off by that. We'll definitely be back next week with an awesome show discussing our wacky adventures with the whole panel back, and you get a chance to hear everybody's perspective. But
Yeah, I don't want to spill too many of other people's
no, me
stories and
neither.
shit.
Yeah, me neither. So I want to give
Cuz I love it
everybody else a
was asking
chance.
me if I use the carrots in the pot. I have 2 carrots in the bed. I also have 2 more that I still have to cut in and place. But right now I have a 5 and a 9 inch. Heyo. No, if you were at high yesterday, it was your own damn fault. Cheers, champ boy.
Oh, it was great, dude. I had to drive back because Miss Red was properly medicated.
Got
The
it.
red Kool-Aid did the trick. Chillum of Rainbow Driver hash. Um, never got a chance. Oh yeah, I did. One of the that one joint that I passed around, the first Rainbow Driver, I
Rainbow, yeah.
think, had a decent amount of Rainbow Dry Sift in it.
Yes, it
A little
did.
slightly pressed, yeah.
It was when you handed me first. I was the first guy.
Yes, that one had a decent amount of dry sift in it, so that one should have did the trick.
It all did the fucking trick. I was next to Finger Lakes Finest, dude. And he just, like, all weekend long, this dude did nothing but roll up bomber ass fucking blunts. Just one after another, after another, after another. And then I got abolished fucking tossing blunts out. I'm like, oh shit, man. It was just, it was just, it was just, yeah, man.
A lot of blunts, dude. That ashtray at the end of the night. I don't think you. Well, you
You
weren't
mean
there to see it,
Gettysburg?
dude.
Gettysburg.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, all kinds. Could have rolled a second, third, fourth generation if you wanted to, but I haven't done that probably since I started growing my own. To be honest.
Since you're old enough to know better, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's out of necessity, man. Really. And then once I didn't really need to anymore, I was like, you know what? It's better off being compost now. To be honest, my roaches are just now better to be compost.
Yeah.
There's extra stuff that I could actually smoke fresh trim or something if I wanted to. Roaches are just, once they're put out and burnt, it's kind of like sparking up a half of a cigarette. I never like spark like if I ever had to put a cigarette out halfway
She
through when I
gone.
was a smoker,
She
it was
gone.
done, man. I didn't like sparking it back up. The flavor, everything's wasted on it. It's kind of, you still get high off of smoking a roach or burning
Oh,
it down.
Jack has a new game for us that we can play.
Mm.
He says, "Smoke for every yeah man you hear." You won't last 10 minutes, I promise.
Dab, bong rip.
Oh, Red, I set you up for a perfect
Ash
opportunity
rip.
to hit him with a yeah man, and you missed it. See
Yeah,
how we were getting him?
man.
There we go.
I was thinking it. I wasn't speaking out loud. I thought I was
Don't
thinking
mind. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
there you go. Cause I love it was asking about the blue mat, the carrots. The carrots are in the 4x8 bed, and you said that you would like to learn how to use them. Just try them, man. I mean, it's really not that bad. You can tell if it's working. It's just a matter of watching the videos that you can find on them to try to learn how to dial those in. just look for the dangling drop. Go check out Tad Hussey. He does a really long session on those. There's also like an
The
interview that he
dangling,
does. Yeah,
the
the
dangling what?
dangling drop, dude. Yeah, and then you got to turn it
Dangling drop.
like two more triangles to get it set where it's supposed to be. It's the way that it is. But my problem is I get too stoned, and then I want to try to learn about something, and I'm like, oh man, I don't really fucking remember. I got to watch that again. So, eh,
You go like all in on a topic, and then
I
that's
just
what
get too
I do.
blown out, dude. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this is really fascinating. I'm gonna roll up a joint, smoke this. So I'm watching it, and then the rabbit hole leads to something else. And I'm like, oh, this looks really good. Let me roll one up, and we get okay, cool. And the next thing I know, I'm just blown out, and I'm completely off topic on some other bullshit. So
Original topic has lost its point. New topic has overpowered everything, and now you're
sometimes,
like on your way to a box store to go buy a bunch of random bullshit to build something
or
strange.
pass out in the fucking chair at like 1:45 in the afternoon. You know, one of those two things is probably what's going to happen.
You were talking about the lighting and how
Yes,
important it is, and how you notice such a big difference. Man, I can't wait to get my bedroom set up, man.
dude, you have to. It's just
Well, I'd love to be able to share clones and do some things other than I can't really run a monocrop because I can't pull a dozen um, clones off of a mom because my moms can't get big enough in the
right.
time frame that I
You're
need
talking
them
about
to.
7 months to fucking do that.
Yeah, because I'm talking about like running 50 watts over a 2x4. That's terrible. So community, in case it's one of your first times tuning in, I've been running T5s forever in veg. And normally I'm pretty on it about once a year. I like to replace my bulbs, which is still a terrible time frame. I should probably do it twice a year, but
Keep
I
going.
try
I'll
to
be
do it
back.
before they burn out right. Yeah. And well, I've been plotting and planning for the last few months to upgrade to LED. So I've been trying to save my budget for that and not really spend. I got to buy a couple dozen T5s, so I could just buy a light with the amount of money that I use for that. So have been kind of waiting, saving my pennies, and fortunately, I have been able to purchase a couple new veg lights, some Fluence RAZRs, I think. Um, I might have to look it up. I don't know. That might be a different model. They're the veg one, two by four 3 bars. Anyways, somewhere around 250 comparative to like a 350 watt, I believe, something like that. Don't know too many of the other specs off the top of my head because they're a bunch of words and numbers that I'm not
Don't mean
fluent
anything
with.
to you yet.
So anyway, yeah, exactly. So I'm still a big like I still like think in terms of like watts and blue and red. I'm pretty basic. Does it work? Yes, no. Types of things like that. And then eventually I'll get there, right? And so, anyways, what I was kind of getting at was I haven't really been focusing on replacing my T5s because I've been putting my budget into these new LEDs. So my T5s have just been slowly fading. It's been a year, right? Last year was the last time I changed my bulbs. So not only has the spectrum faded out like they need to be changed, but I've neglected them so bad that I've lost a couple bulbs in the meantime. So where there was like, you know, supposed to be 8, I've only been running 4 for heat reasons, and now I'm down to like 2 because of duration and
Well,
negligence.
you don't need me
So,
to chastise you. You already know what it is. But for somebody out
oh
there
yeah,
that's listening
when we're
along,
talking limiting factors and things, yeah,
here's what we're saying: is let's look at it from not Red Setter. Let's look at it from my point of view. I grow for just me. Okay, so this is my sole medication. If I fuck this garden up, I fuck myself. So if I am running inefficiently like that, my yields are going to get less and less and less, which means that I'm going to need more and more plants to try to fill up that space because I'm not going to yield it, right? So I'm going to have to grow more plants to get more flower because the light's not going to do the heavy lifting anymore for me. That puts you in a really bad predicament if you stay within your plant counts like that because you're going to be like, well, okay, I'm running this, but it's inefficient. But I'm still running my fans all the time, so I'm still paying for all of the energy, and I'm still running AC, which is good because I'm not heating the room up if I'm only running two lights versus say eight. But yeah, you really stunt your growth, and you're setting plants up to fail rather than succeed. You would almost be better off having a plant that you vegged really, really well and then put into flower than a plant that you just like absolutely just kicked off into the corner. Nobody ever tells you about the plant that gets kicked into the corner that becomes the best thing in the garden.
Yeah. And so for the only reason that this has actually been able to work out, and the only reason that I haven't been a little bit more, I guess, on it when it comes to like change, just spending the money on those bulbs and not worrying about it, was mainly because I didn't want to waste the bulb. They're not going to get used once I get into this new system of LEDs. The T5s probably aren't going to get used. I'm not going to use them for veggie starts. I'm probably going to get a LED for veggie starts and shit.
Yeah.
T5s are going to end up going into maybe somebody else's tent at some point, something like that. So they're, I it's old technology in my eyes. So anyways, what I have been wanting to like, the big thing is, I need to roll more weed, I guess, because I'm losing my track of thought. So
Baby, come back.
yeah, the big portion of the negligence comes from it only being a propagation. Granted, it's mothers
But it's
and
not,
clones
though.
and things, but my late veg is actually more controlled and dialed. I'm using metal halides.
It's
A
doing
little
the
bit
heavy
more
lifting.
it's not really affecting. It's not a it is affecting. Okay, it's not a detriment. It's not. I'm able to pull off heavy loads in crops, I should say,
Okay.
because I'm able to clone. I'm able to keep mothers, obviously under low wattage, but I'm still able to keep them. The growth is a little bit slower. Um,
Well, as
and
an
it's
interviewer,
temporary,
I have to ask you this:
so it's
is
really my permanent fix.
you're saying that it's not really affecting things, and Aldridge up there is saying, "Got to remember the abacus red." And I don't know, man. I'm like, if you think about how cheap it is to buy decent veg lights, and you think about how much space that you have in flower, how much floor are you illuminating in flower, rather than how much plant can you fill it with? You see what I'm? There's like a ratio going on there with the abacus in that, and sometimes you have to change one of those variables. So in this instance, by changing your veg lights, you're going to make it so that when you flower, there's not going to be any light hitting the floor because you're going to fill your space completely, and you know what I mean. You'll be able to take
I
just the
agree with
healthiest
you.
tops on that.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that. In a way, yeah. In a way, yes, and in a way, no. Um, the way I agree with you on all of that. I'm saying that I'm able to come back from it. It just takes me longer. It's just a longer process, and by doing
From
so,
seed to harvest takes an
I'm
extra week or two.
utilizing. No, dude, it takes like an extra 4, 5, 6 weeks. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I actually have to like go into that veg cycle. I'm in like a stalled. I mean, they grow. They grow great. They're still under lights. I mean, they're getting 4 tubes of, old ass light, but they're still light. Um, Obviously, it could grow faster. They could grow better, but I'm not over. I'm giving them like I'm not overfeeding them either.
How big of a
I'm
space
giving
are you
them.
talking about right now that you're trying to illuminate for this space that you're using for veg?
I mean, this is all just propagation. I'm
Right. How
talking
big is the
baby
space?
plants and a couple of 2x4 trays.
That's it. Dude, that's super cheap. Yeah. You got that.
No, Scobo, I already bought the lights. They're on
Yeah.
like a 6 week back order.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
you're
No,
killing
it's
me.
Fluence, dude. Yeah. The stuff's back
Damn.
ordered because they were back ordered
Yeah.
before Rona.
Right.
So add Rona to it, and now
Have staffing issues, shipping issues, everything
we'll see
else.
when I get them. But I mean, I it's a matter of like I'm not vegging in the space that I'm vegging in. You know what I mean? So I haven't wanted to buy lights for this space, and I can't just hang one light really where I'm at. Like I got to do a whole rack system. I got to like do it all or nothing at all. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
too big of a project.
Oh, yeah,
So
man.
for me to like it's like more time and energy to like hang something, set it up, because then it's all got to be torn down again, type of deal. So for me, and I'm doing double the amount of work. So for me, it's better to just hold off, slow my roll, save my budget, get my budget right, and then I purchase a half dozen of these lights, so I'm able to build a proper bedroom like I'm doing. Right, that's what I did. So I bought a half dozen of these lights. Now I'm building a proper propagation room. So I'm going to be able to have three 2x4 spaces for mothers, three 2x4 spaces for baby plants and propagation, all brand new Fluence LEDs, all able to rock and roll. Brand new seeds, brand new pheno hunt, brand new moms, the whole nine. You know what I mean?
It'll be great to have moms that you can actually kick the lights up on to really produce. You know what I mean? Like when we walked through with Mitt and Canico, yeah, the moms that they had a GMO mom that was over 6 foot. I think I'm 6'3" now, probably, but it was taller than I was,
Well, is
and
that the
he.
one that they just posted today on their Instagram? If you saw the
Oh,
giant,
I didn't see it. Was it a GMO?
I don't know, man. It was just a giant lollipop of a tree, almost
Dude, they're all
touching the
fucking
ceiling.
like that. Yeah, they're all like that.
So I don't
So
know
what they'll
what it
do is
was.
they'll
It
cut
was
like
huge.
160 clones from that plant, just wham, whack them all the way down. So
Yeah, I
you know,
haven't
but
been able to like I haven't been able to grow a
fuck
tree
no,
mother plant like that. You know,
I've never had
not
the
under
space or the count.
no under a 2x4. I've always tried to cram at least four mothers in a 2x4, and right now I have like six moms in a 2x4. You know what I mean? And then when I redo moms, they're baby plants. I'm really not messing with them.
No,
Like I'll redo moms and I'll veg out or I'll flower out the last of them when they're ready, and I might only be able to take a couple cuts. That's
right?
not really a crop for me. You know what I mean? I got to wait until I can do a good monocrop, a good
So do you
dozen
do a lot
plants or
of
something for it to be a good
topping
mom.
for moms?
I
Is
do a
that what you
lot.
do?
I do all well. I do topping as far as take the first couple clones, and it's usually like a small run, you know, because it's not a lot of branches, just a single stalk, meristem, maybe a couple meristems because it's a clone. I'll add it in. Those are usually extra plants, right?
Okay.
First couple tops off the mom are usually extra. I usually don't throw away clones and stuff unless I don't have room for them. Then I'm just topping. And you're right. Then I'm just topping moms and I'm
Just
holding
hard
them back.
topping. I have to
Sometimes
do that to
moms
a
aren't in
headlights right now.
rotation. I do a lot of bonsai technique with moms. I do a lot of pruning, keep the leaves off of them, keep the middle of the plant open.
You
I
know, if you're
allow
not going to
more
flower
notice to
anytime
open up.
soon, though, when you do that, if you just come through and I've always just called it like a hard top, just bam, go down 3 or 4 nodes, get it to the size that you see that you've got 3 or 4 arms that could potentially become, like main branches coming off of this now. Because when I transplant it again, I always bury it much deeper, so I lose some of that, that general stalk height that I've been building. Um, so I like to go in and just sometimes do that periodically, and then I'll see the plant take off. And if I'm not, I think if I've got like 3 weeks to go, I can get away with that. But I'd rather have 4+ weeks after I do that before I flip them to flower.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm trying
noisy grinder. I
to.
got to mute out.
Oh, dig it. That wasn't that bad though, man. I dig it. The not even rolling up this joint that I was rolling. Look at that. So most of the time, my moms are kind of bonsai back, kind of pruned back, and I'll let like one or two strains do their thing and grow and fluff out while the rest of them kind of stay maintained and pruned up. Those two ones, those would be my production strains. And then, a couple of other ones will start to grow a little bit bigger because that'll be the next round of production. And everything's kind of segmented a couple of weeks back, couple of weeks back. Or if I'm doing multi strains, everything's at the same size. Man, it's really dependent on the season, the demand. Right now, I'm more in a monocrop phase. So I've only got two moms doing their thing and everything else is chopped back. I'll chop moms really far back also. If I'll like if I don't need to take clones off of it for a while and I really want to like let it freshen up, I'll take it back. Like if there's to like the bottom three nodes that have some kind of leaf, I'll take this much off a plant that might
Oh
only be
yeah,
this tall. You know what I mean? I'll leave this much of a plant left, this much of its stalk. There's only two or three nodes. It'll look like somebody will be like, "What the fuck did you do to your plant? All you had, it looks like a palm tree or something." You know what I mean? That's all it'll look like. It'll look like a little palm tree.
right.
And I'll
Because
just
you
leave
took
the top two
everything
little
off.
leaves. Took
Yep.
all the leaves off from the bottom
And
because
it
really
comes
it's only a couple
back.
nodes.
It comes back, dude. And the shit
With a
that comes back
vengeance.
is like
With a
growing.
vengeance. It comes out, it goes,
Yeah.
it turns into this little freaking bush, dude. I grow in synthetic environments when I do this. High humidity. Um, I'm not an organic grower indoors. So, and I don't really do those methods out. I haven't really messed with those methods outdoors in the
Don't
organic.
need to.
I don't do the stripping and all of that stuff. I don't have, you know, airflow issues and things like that outside like I do inside. So, yeah, man,
Yeah, man. There'd you hear it. Did you hear him? Count it.
yeah, it, it it's a technique that like it takes some time. It takes a good 2 weeks, right, before the mom really starts to kind of bounce back. But once that happens, like you can't go 4 weeks without having to prune your moms. You know, you, 2 weeks, you're already probably able to start cloning if you wanted to. If you get another 2 weeks, they're touching your lights.
Well, for sure. Yeah. The thing is that I don't know. There's a lot to be said for when I get something in veg, I'm looking at it. And in the beginning, when the plant's growing, I'm like, oh, I'm going to save this bottom branch because I'm going to take that and I'll whack it off at the base of the plant. But I'm only going to take the greenest bits from the end and turn it into a clone. But as it grows bigger and bigger, I find that it's better just to whack that shit off because you're never going to flower that. As you look at the plant as it is, you go, okay, how much bigger is this thing going to get? How much longer is it going to be in veg? How, you know what I mean? How is this thing going to look? So if you're saving stuff that's 6, 8 inches off of the dirt in your plant as a sidearm, in my opinion, I just cut all that shit off. Like when I went into my room right now uh, last week, I looked at the plants and I was like, okay, from this point down, I'm just whacking all of it because I see how quickly and aggressively these are growing. And then anything else as it needs to be thinned out along the way, I'll just go through and do that. Take those leaves out, throw them in my worm bin, and let them crunch down on it. So
I like to do it. I like to do that as well. There's like this bonsai technique of just imagining what your plant's going to look like in the future, whether or not it's a week, a year, or whatever. And in bonsai, it's usually like 10 years down the line. But like for us, it's a couple of weeks. It's 60 days down the line. So, nonetheless, either way, the growth is just it piles on some of these genetics, and you really have to grow your plant once, twice, three times. You got to learn your genetics, and then you can properly train them without even scrogging, so to say. But
right,
like
they'll be
sometimes you're
strong
gonna
enough too, man. You can knuckle them up all the way through that.
excuse me. There's a technique that I like to use that is basically what is this branch gonna do? It's the thought of what is this branch gonna do, and that's like looking at a bottom lower branch, and that's is this going to get up into the canopy? And this is where I say you kind of got to know your genetics. You got to understand your stretch. You got to have been experienced with the stretch. Am I able to bring the top of the canopy down enough in my scrog? And is this little branch going to grow up and become a top? Or is it going to continue and be a little bottom bit of mess that's just going to take energy away from the top? I don't want little bits of mess that's going to take energy away from the top. If it doesn't make it into the top two thirds, if it doesn't make it into the top two thirds, I don't want it.
Right. Those ones that are deceptive when you have a really thick branch, and when it hits flower, you get the really thin pieces that start like it's going to shoot up to the top. I look at the diameter of that and I go, oh wait a minute, the girth of that, and then I make a decision on do I think that that's going to be supportive of like a substantial bud site or is it just going to be some bullshit larf that's going to be getting in the way of something else that is it a better buzz site of being illuminated? It's all that executive decision shit that you have to decide on how you feel it's best to do. Some people would tisk red and I off the show right now saying you shouldn't remove any leaves, and everybody has their own reasoning on why they do what they do. So, matter of
I'd
choice.
imagine that there's a way that you can, if you wanted to strip your plants down and heavy top and in an organic setting, I'm sure that there's an approach. If you have the right environment going on and everything, I'd say I'm sure people do it all the time. The heavy toppers and they run organics. It's just my only experience with doing it is in synthetics, and I know that I'm more or less giving the plant what it needs without relying on photosynthesis for the
We're
most
coming up
part.
on hash time here pretty quickly, folks.
Oh,
What
I
do we
got a
got?
treat from myself tonight.
We got 9 minutes to it.
For the world out there watching.
What
It
do you got?
is a little bit of rainbow driver hash. My first time messing with beating on the old trim bin with some rainbow driver trim,
Do you like
especially
it?
before the float. Yeah,
The
man,
trim
I
bin,
do.
that is.
Yeah,
Count it, folks.
love the trim bin, dude. I'm gonna start doing it with my bubble bags. Do the old bucket method with the bubble bags. I actually saw maybe a British, at least he sounded British. I don't know where he was in the world, but he was
Thanks,
just using
modern
like a
genetics.
bowl, but using a bubble bag and like a glass bowl, and just kind of kneading it. He was almost just kneading it, like he was using the bowl as. That's what I do on the trim tray. Honestly, I knead it and I tap on the edges of the trim tray. I don't tap on the weed, but I like beat around the weed, and the weed just kind of bounces around in the trim tray.
We just got to get you
Then
some
I knead. Oh
experience,
shit!
man.
There goes everything. And then I knead it. You know what I mean? And slap it around, and scrape it with a card, dump it into a bag, and dump it out again, and shake it and stir it. And I'll do all these methods. Just try to knock trichomes off. But yeah, he was just using a bubble bag and a bowl. Pretty simple.
You looking forward to making more?
I really am. Yeah, I want to mess with really trying to. So I tried pressing it. I also pressed it out with a hot water bottle, hot water in a wine bottle. I think there's a little bit too much contaminant at that 150 mark, at the 150 micron, to really get it to melt well. It wants to melt, but it more or less solidifies, and it doesn't really get pliable. It doesn't turn into putty. Maybe I didn't do it long enough. I'm definitely not a master dicarboxylator by any means, but I'm gonna get there eventually. I'm gonna make some edible hash one of these days. Figure this whole process out. But I have a feeling that I really just need to get my micron. I need to get a more. I need to use.
Did you
I need
see
to
what
get
Jack
less
is talking
contaminant
about?
in my hash.
Well,
No, I'm
Jack is
not
saying
actually.
right now in the hash about contaminant. He says Trimpin is
Yeah,
amazing. I love the 150 micron. Lady G gets nice sieve quality from that. Easy enough to clean up with Static Tech. So, are you aware of Static Tech?
I understand the concept, but I haven't done a lot of digging into like methods and methodology or anything like that. But I can I know like DVD cases have been used, CD cases, and things like that. I don't understand. I kind of understand the
I've seen
concept of it.
the case thing like that with the DVD case, but
Yeah, and I've seen it just in like dumping out my buckets, you know, knocking out all the rest of the stuff and whatever's. All of a sudden, you see all the good shit go just kind of get magnetized to the bucket. You know what I mean? It's pretty
see,
cool.
I'm with Spartan. He says he just goes straight from the bin and tops bowls with it. I have a trim tray, same damn thing, different company. I do too. I scrape it up and
That's why most of my concentrate, if you will, is all dry sieve for the most part. I would like to get it into more of a refined temple ball or storable, pliable hash material. It's a little easier to work
that's
with.
something I should do. I should turn that into a
Yeah,
spill.
yeah, man. Yeah, that looks great. What you got there?
That's what
Some
I get out of mine. This is
is that just a
the
salad or
that's a
some
salad
sort
mix of a bunch of different harvests, but I'm really happy with it.
Ooh, it's
So
almost hash time. I gotta light this
you
joint. It's
gotta
almost
you gotta
hash
get
time.
ready, man. Let's see. Where is my chillum?
Yeah, so through time, I'm gonna definitely work on the Rainbow Driver hash. Try to get some more of that going. I just did like a small, whatever my recent round of trimming was, and kind of
Personal
worked
run.
on
Yeah.
that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I got like
Yeah.
maybe a 3-4 gram chunk out of it, maybe less. I don't know, 2 to 4. So I never
How's the
weighed it.
flavor coming through?
And I'll bring it out here in just a second. Old treasure chest here. This treasure chest is getting heavy.
It sounds like first world problems to me.
I'm telling you, dude. Booty. It's in the booty. Let's see here. I'm gonna break out a couple different ones here. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna end up doing is running kind of one last round off these moms that I have. And within that round is going to be the new mothers that are going to go out and regenerate themselves under the fluents. And then I'm probably going to take a round or two of production off of those just for shits and giggles. But I'm going to kind of let them regenerate and then take new mothers off of those. I'm not going to keep those mothers around very long. I'm going to let them regenerate new clones and reset the whole thing if necessary. It might not even be necessary. They might just regenerate. Like, they're not in bad shape by any means. You know, they grow.
Kind of
They
have to
grow no
wait and
matter
see.
what, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just get some cloudy days.
So I have a hash question here. We know that
But
you
I agree
keep
with that
everything.
abacus thing, man.
It just is. It's it's
It
kind of a
is. It
clever
is what
little
it
way to
is.
say shit.
Yeah.
For every single mistake you long away.
Yeah, you take away from your end result, absolutely.
Yeah.
But and then in my scenario, it's kind of like I don't want to say it is what it is, but in my scenario, it's just like it's part of the method, I suppose, to get to where I need to get, as far as budget savings and where I need to put my next foot in the, and stuff like
Check
that.
it out. There's a difference between it is what it is and it's been what it's been. It is what it is means fuck it, I can't do anything about it, so it just fucking is what it is, and I'm not going to try to do anything. It's been what it's been means, hey, you know what? I know it's been that way, but I'm trying to put my best foot forward and try to address it in the future. So it's kind of a mindset thing, but I think sometimes that matters.
Totally,
It's way too
totally.
easy to get frustrated as a grower, man. Especially if you don't have resources or friends or anything else like that around you. Sometimes you can just feel fucking flummoxed, bro.
Dude, next to genetics, man, it's environment. I mean, at least in my eyes, I don't. They can go hand in hand, but I feel like in a way, I kind of picked my genetics from my environment, but like, yeah, that's like the two main things that, as far as like succeeding in a good medicinal go, that's what I like to look for. Proper genetics that will suit my environment.
Shit, Red. The conversation's so good that I
Email
pre-lit
popped up and
the
distracted me.
fucking 11
Hash bowl?
the midnight hash bowl, man. I was like just so into the conversation. So
Premature Ihashi later.
a premature ehashulation fault. You heard it here
Premature
first.
Ihashulation, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude,
That's why
such a
I had
fan.
a joint. I had a joint to kill the urge.
I know.
Sure, and I
These things happen.
did a freshly cleaned chillum for yesterday's float.
I
So it's
noticed.
only got a use or two on it. So I'm gonna use this bad boy.
Dude, you know one frustrating thing about a chillum when it's super, super clean just after you clean it is if you don't properly pack the bowl and it fucking falls. No, it falls out. You'll just like kind
it
of
falls
barely
out.
push
Yeah,
it
that
in,
too.
and it just
Yeah,
there's nothing to hold it.
I always get a nice rocket through the throat. Oh yeah.
Yummy. And with that, it is Jack
Ding ding
Greenstock's favorite
ding.
time.
Ding ding ding. So let's see here. You can't see it because it's in a parchment. I
What is it?
parchmented it up yesterday. Also for the float. Let's see here. Feel good about this one, man. It pressed nice, but it just didn't melt, which is I guess even nicer too. But nice color in this stuff.
Oh wow,
So,
nice.
get a little white. Nope, wipe
Oh, you
that
disappeared on us,
background.
bro.
That didn't work.
Yeah, shout out on that snow cane Spartan. That shit's fucking got me half-ass slit over here right now.
Someone do
That's
that.
the base of the bowl is a little combination of the snow cane and the grow off plant from abolished and the in-house dry sift of the gardens from the last probably 3 4 months. So earlier I did miss the opportunity. I was doing it. Was if you noticed when I was fucking around with my little hash thing, since I keep it in a small container, is I use. I've said this a lot before, but it's kind of a little PSA thing. If you're ever trying to find a way to be able to scoop hash or anything like that, just make sure the next time that you go to 7-Eleven or someplace that has like a frozen drink and they have the shovel straws, just pick yourself one up and cut it to the size that you need. And it makes an awesome way to top bowls and move around this stuff really easier than fucking around with the stupid guitar picks and everything else that don't really work that well. This is shaped better to fit inside of a bowl. So cheers, guys.
Well, now that you just reminded me that I needed my hash spoon, and my hash spoon is not around me, it's upstairs. Now I'm looking for a guitar pick, but
Oh,
I have
red.
a pack of guitar picks right here in front of me. Would you look at that?
Rock on.
Scobo, you are a genius day saver. I've used guitar picks before, but it's not always
They don't. You have to get the
inspirational
flexible
things
ones. You
gonna
can't use
pop in
like.
my head, you know.
Eh,
Oh yeah, this is a 0.73 millimeters. Not that flexible, but this is all right. I was never a strummity strummer.
I was when
So
I was
here's
like
some
13 or
Glee, right?
14.
Here's some Glee.
Everybody was raving about that this weekend.
Let's hope that this doesn't go dump
Don't
now.
spill it. God damn it.
It's like up to the edge. Ooh, it just turned into moon face, sun face. There it goes. Okay, can't see it. There it is. All right, I'm gonna not do it anymore. But anyways, yeah, man. That's what I was gonna add. So I'm gonna do a little mix. So I got Death Star flower.
Don't forget, Red just said the magic word. Toke up, Johnny.
Yeah, man.
I'm using this 1980s fucking. This is like the oldest pipe I own. See if I can get it to come in clearly. It's a really old steamroller, right? And you think, let's just like a piece of shit little $25, $30 thing. And it's super, super thin. But I've dropped this before and it's never broken, knock on wood. For whatever reason,
Dude, you're not
I've
supposed
had
to say that.
what?
Man.
Oh, knock on wood.
Dude, you're so gonna, dude.
This piece, when you know where I got it, the dude was. I was like, oh, that's like really thin carnival glass. I used to always call it shit like carnival glass. And he was like, really? You think so? This fucking crazy ass hippie dude like slams it on the fucking counter, like throws it. It hits the countertop and it's like wing, 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 wing in the air. He fucking catches it and holds it. He goes, I think you're fine, Captain. And I said, okay, I'll take it, bro. So she's been with me ever since. But what I was saying about it is a lot of people kind of poo-poo the whole steamroller thing, and I guess I can see why. I can see that some people would see that it looks like some other kind of pipe that they have negative connotations to. But it's also like a dry bong. You know what I mean? It's just bam, rip it right to your head. So, but this one
Yeah,
is kind of good for hash if you really want to just get on it with huge heads, man. If you don't have a lot of herb to work with, a little steamroller or a little chillum can be your best friend.
I used to love those steamrollers. I made a shitty one on a PVC one time.
Ooh,
When I was a younger kid,
say it
you
ain't
know.
so.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was terrible. Uh, yeah, dude. I got in trouble. That thing got found by my parents. I was a young kid. That was bad. That
You were just a
I,
pup.
my dude, I had like friends sign it and shit. We all got in trouble. In
That
fact, my
was like
friend wouldn't
incriminating
sign it.
evidence. Like you take it to the kid's fucking
My best
parents. Like,
friend too. He,
do you
he
see
wouldn't
what
sign
Johnny
it, so I
put?
was like, "Motherfucker, I'm gonna sign your name." So I signed his name. So we all got in trouble, dude.
Wow,
Such
you
assholes.
guys were so young. You were stupid like that.
So young, we're so stupid. So anyway, now that I finally got my bulb packed up here, let's
You know
hash it
what?
out.
I can't say
So I did
anything.
the
I've had horrible things too. I can remember being a kid, and I was a really big skateboarder, man. And so we all had parents that like you couldn't have a pipe; it just wasn't going to happen, right? So anything you had to do be on the down low. So I remember having a skateboard wheel. So I took the skateboard wheel and I fucking cleaned it all up, right? It's like brand fucking new. So I put a nickel in the bottom. I like pushed it all the way in on one side of the wheel. And then on the other side, I took a screen out of the kitchen faucet like the dumbest fucking kid in the world, right? But it just fit so well, Red. So took the fucking screen out of the thing. And I don't know. I think my dad probably just fixed it and didn't say shit to my mom about it because I never got in trouble for it. But then I drilled a hole through the side of it, like where the center is. And we had, in our stupidness, we had bought a corncob pipe from like the local party store, right? Which sounded like a great idea at the time. But at the end, all we had left was this fucking straw. So the straw went into this thing, and you know, you weren't trying to set the urethane on fire, obviously. You had enough room, but that was my surreptitious thing. And then you could just pull the straw out and, you know what I mean, throw the skateboard wheel wherever and come back to your shit later on. That was my stupid and probably 13-year-old shit.
that stash got found. I always thought I was a good hider, man. Never worked out right. Always got
Obviously
caught,
not.
dude.
When you say never, that means that you get caught more than once, my friend.
I would put that shit like up in the ceiling in places that nobody would check, dude. Always got caught. My dad was always doing
Who's the snoop?
construction, man. Nobody. My dad was just always doing construction. I was just always busy. I was in sports and stuff. So my dad would be like pulling down, just randomly pulling down ceiling tiles and shit, and down would come my like little cigar box or some shit. You know what I mean?
Daddy Red, say it isn't so. I don't think he's with us here tonight, is he?
I don't think he's in the chat to verify this
That,
information.
the
Allegedly, I don't
specific
know.
caper. I want to see him pop up right now. He just randomly pulls
He's
up in the
probably
chat,
listening.
starts pulling down ceiling tiles too.
I'm sure he's probably gonna go down there now and go start searching for some. There's probably still some old shit hanging on. I don't know. I doubt it. I wasn't that bad of a kid, man. You gotta give me a little bit of credit there.
Yeah,
It
the
was just
socket
weed.
wrench was something I learned about later on. I didn't know the socket wrench tech when I was that age.
That was the thing, though, man.
The
It was more or
cocaine, we
less.
did do the cocaine. We've had that before. Um,
It was more or less like sparked creativity. I like. I had a hobby of like making little wood items and things, and I actually spent some time
making a
with some
wooden
family
bowl.
members in Ohio, and he had a nice little wood shop in his basement. Yeah, man, I made like a little wooden bowl and like drilled it out, and and of course that was found, and had to be thrown out and stuff like that. But like I was trying to be real creative. Like, dude, that one of my favorite like things to do is, my dad was always working on the house, right? So I was always going to the construction store, like HQ or like Handy Andy or whatever these stores were back in the day. You know what I
Dude, I
mean?
haven't heard of Handy Andy in forever.
Looking around, looking for. I wasn't. I was probably way too young when Handy Andy was around. It was probably like, I don't know, HQ or maybe even Lowe's or something like that. But yeah, man, looking at like all the pipe and tubing,
You heard it.
thinking about how to make an old hookah or something.
How old were you when you got
Made a
your
couple
first
old
hookah?
hookahs. I built my own. It was like it was
Did you
more like a
build one?
water bomb slash hookah. Yeah, I used a couple like plastic,
Here
more
we
more
go.
plastic, right? Vases, like old vases, flower holders, stacked a
Fancy
couple
ones. When you
together.
say vase, it's
Oh, dude, it
fancy.
was great, man. It was like a double chamber. So it had, this was like my first bong, right? And it was all homemade. It was really cool. It was two vases stacked. Of course, I used some tape, taped them up, and then I had some
Of course, I
tubes
used
going
some
from the
tape.
bottom. Tubes went from the bottom into the top, and I was
How did you get the?
ingenuitively enough. Dude, I'm butchering our language, but anyways, smart enough to stick the fucking tube deep enough in to allow it to bubble in the top layer, so it actually
Sure.
did a double bubble. I used a flashlight for a stem
Would you
because
put
I
holes in
didn't
the
have access
glass?
to glass. No glass. They were plastic,
Oh, so you just drilled a
vases.
hole in them. Okay.
I
They were
couldn't figure
fancy
out how to.
plastic
I couldn't figure
vases.
out how to do a hole in glass, so I had to use plastic, right? So that was one of my hurdles. Was like, dude, I can't, I'm not. I tried drilling in the glass, dude, and the fucker shattered. I was like, this ain't gonna work. Can't, it's not gonna work. I can't drill in the glass. I don't know how many like glass objects I broke trying to fucking drill into glass bottles and shit,
Dude,
dude, trying to get
chat
it
is
working.
fucking killing me, man. Cheers, man.
So many bottles, dude. Bro,
Are you watching
so many
chat?
bottles. I should use a diamond tip. No, I'm not yet. But
You know, he tells us in the beginning of the show this time he's got chat popped out. He's
if
going
I
to really
start
be with us
reading,
this
dude, if I start
time.
reading, I can't speak. You know what I mean? I got to do like one or the other, or else I like start getting myself distracted and shit.
There we go. I was waiting for somebody to bring up the
Gravity
double
bongs, dude.
2 liter
Yeah,
plastic,
dig it.
the
Yes.
gravity bongs. Yeah, that was our thing. I think that was the summer '88. I'm pretty sure I can remember that shit
Dude, an old
specifically.
an old girlfriend found that thing and she didn't like that I smoked weed, man. She like threw that fucker away on me and broke it and all
See,
kinds of shit. I
that's
was
when we got hip to the socket wrench. Was when we got hip
so
to
mad about that.
the gravity bongs because that was
See,
perfect
dude,
for the time.
I the gravity bonk thing I did a couple times, but I was never really a huge fan of that. I was never a big fan of like the gas mask,
We used to do
force
it with a
fed,
joint
like,
a lot too.
you know
You
what
ever
I
do it
mean?
with like you have a gravity bong where you instead of having the bowl through the thing, you just stick the joint inside so that you're just drawing it as you're pulling it up. We used to have those too with the this is whatever year that the fucking 39-cent Coca-Cola bottles when they first started getting away from glass bottles and they went to those plastic pieces of shit. Say
Some
probably
of the
like
worst things about prohibition are that we were smoking out of
trash,
tinfoil, smoking out
trash.
of tin
Yeah.
cans, smoking plastic, PVC, and all kinds of
Oh,
other shit
dude, the
because like
steel, man.
bongs and glass
All the
pipes
little
were
fucking
totally illegal.
threaded pieces and all that bullshit. That was my big kick in the beginning. Was the little tiny. They had the little wooden piece in the middle, and the rest of it was the metal. And
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. I tried making. One of my other first pipes was one of those little metal, like 3 or 4 chambered bowls. You know, the kind you
did you
screw
buy it
together.
or put it together?
No, I put it together, and so it was the kind that you could like take off like the outer sleeves. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
like I wrapped it in clay and had a really cool like clay
It was
pipe.
definitely a red setter piece, right?
Oh, I loved it, dude. Yeah, man. It was, and it's
Count
probably
it.
still underneath this pine tree, um, that I
This
had to
is
toss
getting
it
to be.
under.
Your name's
It
not
was
Andy
terrible, dude.
Dufresne, is it?
What is
You,
that?
your name's not Andy Dufresne, is it? You're not
No,
telling me to
dude.
go look under the oak tree,
It's,
go where the
dude, I'm
stone
telling you,
is out
man.
of
It's underneath this
place.
old pine,
So,
man, in fucking mid southern Michigan, dude. It's underneath this old pine. We had to ditch it. I was so mad, man.
dude, you need to
We
do a
didn't even get
treasure hunt for
searched
it, man.
either.
You gotta find
We
it.
didn't even get searched. Oh yeah, we went back to hunt for the shit, dude, because we had other shit that we had to ditch. Of course, the
Dug all
person we
kinds
were
of
with,
shit.
she found all her shit. Oh, dude, the dog alarm. I
Dog
gotta
alarm.
do the dog alarm thing, man. I'll be right back.
Do it. I'm gonna do a quick run through with chat. Uh, who doesn't love Red Setter Farm stories, man? I want to say cheers, 63, hanging out with us. I hope that you have been enjoying the show, having a couple of laughs, and hopefully smoking right along with us. I'm just going to start somewhere, and the first time I see a name that I haven't mentioned or don't remember mentioning, I'm going to say shout out again to you. So I'm going to start with Diamond Presco. What's happening tonight? How you doing? Um, Aldridge, I caught you earlier. John Boy, the same. Yeah, man. Oh, count it. I said it myself. Just out of things. So, using sink screens and a socket wrench for the bowl. Yeah. Come on. Who else has had some other crazy contraption in here? Oh, Dankman Dan coming through here talking about pushing for the wake and bake Thursdays at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, definitely come through and hang out with Sequence and Dan and Tara and myself. Thursday mornings at 6 a.m. It's a lot of good laughs, and we definitely want to get their viewers up for them. So lots of love from the late sesh. Red, did
Yeah,
you
the
catch
dog
that?
alarm. Yeah, no, I didn't catch that. Sorry, man. I was stepped away and letting the dog out.
We were just
Yeah.
plugging the Wake and Bake.
Oh yeah,
Dan
yeah.
came through and talked about that. So you
Wake
had
and
some
bake
very
6
good
a.m. Thursday morning.
memes that you've been making to that very topic, killing us.
I didn't publicly post that one, but I tossed that one up in our
Keeper
grok
pile, man.
chat for
That's a
everybody.
keeper pile. So
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely in the keeper pile too. Yeah, the dog alarm saved that one, dude. Dude, that story with the pipe in the tree, that was
Sleepy Hollow.
a formative experience to say the least, dude. A car accident was actually involved in that one. Cannabis was not root cause of this car accident whatsoever.
No, but
It was
somebody was
actually other
holding,
shit.
and then now it became an issue.
Yeah, but I'm not even gonna get into that story because that's totally another. That's another.
Baby, come back.
Yeah, exactly.
You are welcome,
All
Dankman Dan.
controversial and stuff and things of why I think that it's kind of BS that cannabis is illegal and other shits on the shelves. But that's another topic.
Jack says he used to make steamrollers with a water bottle using a metal part from the fan where the cord thing meets the fan usually has a metal cover you can unscrew and use as a bowl. My friend, you just stepped up the stoner engineering to a level here to unbeknownst to me. MacGyver smoking devices. Okay, now here's how good this joint is. I was smoking this and we started talking about it was going to be hash time. So it's like, I don't have my glasses on. So it's like quarter after 12, right? So I put this thing down like a half hour ago, and we were talking about how I don't save roaches and shit. Well, this obviously isn't a roach. This is like three quarters, but the fucking flavor is still there. So
I still have mine also. I set mine out. That's like a halfer, and I totally intend. I'm gonna end up smoking it before the end of the show.
you're gonna swoop back through and pick her up there, Seagull.
Yeah, unless I end up just keep. I usually end up just once I hit the chillum, dude. I start just packing up the chillum for the rest of the show. But I'm sure and then I just smoke that doobie like afterwards. But we'll see what happens.
See how the night treats us, right?
We'll see how many mans we can get through tonight.
Oh,
How
he
long
did it
goes.
again. I did one while you were gone too, man. We're killing them out there. Nobody could be keeping up with this. It's crazy talk.
Jack and smoking out of apples, dude. I dig it, and I'm going to, if I can grow more than one successful melon this year, I might do a good melon.
Oh, it's too
Bong.
too wet and shit, man. That'd just be a fucking mess.
I'm a fan with I'm a fan of round bottom bongs, man. Nice. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, show me this.
This is like an affordable. See,
That's the intro. Yeah, that's $99 or less. It's heavy as
yeah,
shit.
totally, dude. I got this thing for like $65, something
Yeah.
like that. But I always had a hard time. I could never actually get the bowl comes out just fine. This is a terrible bowl, terrible representation of what's around here. But
Yours does
this
not have
is
the rubber grommet in it, then, or did you just remove it?
no, it does, but it was never able to
You can't
I
pull it.
guess you just get them wet and it kind of comes out. But this fucker, so now I mean this thing's fallen a couple times. This big gnarly crack that goes along.
But it's thick.
So, but it's still usable. We kind of there's actually water in it, but I'm not.
It's probably got spider webs and shit in it. It's so old.
Yeah,
Dust.
It's been a little while. Anyways,
Muddy water.
there's a company in Washington. I don't think it's Oregon. I think it's Washington. Noble Glass, and they like only do round bottom bonds. They have like 3 different sizes, and they have I don't know 8 or 10 like flagship models that they have, and they're just different colors basically. And more or less like 3 flagship models. It's like a basic round bottom with a stem, no wrap. Then they have like next up with that is like medium size, and these are small size, I think 12, 13 inches.
Yep.
And the next one's like with a wrap, or with a wrap with dichronic.
They make even ones with
Fanciness.
they're bigger than that one.
Yeah, they'd go up to 15 to 16 inches or something.
Yeah,
size.
dude. My son had
And
a
then some of the
girlfriend that had one of those that
specialty-
was a fucking sweet ass ripper, man. It's a huge fucking piece.
Was
I mean, that thing
was it
weighed
Noble?
a ton.
Was it
Yeah, it was.
Noble Glass? Okay,
Yeah,
so that's what I'm specifically wondering is if anybody has experience with their because they're in that affordable range, man. They're in that
super
budget
heavy.
worthy
Just if
budget.
you
Yeah,
before
and
you
that's what
buy
I'm looking
one,
for is super heavy.
look at the bowl. You know what? I'll tell you a good one that I have is I where did I buy this at?
And I'm not
Uh,
necessarily opposed to sourcing a separate bowl either. Like I wouldn't mind getting like a fancy little bowl, nice, you know,
look
custom bowl for it. But
into for less than $100. Look into AMG Glass. AMG stands for American Made Glass. It's a company. I picked them up out of BDT. They carry them still. They have just the simple beaker bottom ones. Just you know what I mean, straight up thing. So my advice for somebody on something like that is okay, buy the piece for $100, and then as soon as you buy it, take the downstem out of it, throw it on the ground, and smash that shit because it's fucking awful. And then spend like 35, $40. And the brand that I use is a high sci, and it's a different downstem that goes into it instead of just being the cheap sliced, the three slices you get on a percolator. It gives you the big bubbles and shit. Um, the high side that I use has a bunch of little holes in the bottom of it, and it creates a lot better bubbling in the piece. So get that, and then spend a couple bucks on a nice bowl, and away you go. What else are we seeing? We got a bamboo bong. No, dude, I've never had one of those. That's some like Magnum PI shit or something. Hollowed out coconut. I seen Aldridge earlier had mentioned about using a cigarette to burn the hole through the side of it. Right, you were exactly right, my friend. That was my friend group's idea too. We used to do the same shit. Yeah, I love beaker bongs, especially when I have people over and shit. Is it's less likely to get tipped over. Talking about that AMG glass, it's super super thick, and it still has the ice pinch in it. So if you want to do the hot water in the bottom and the ice in the neck to really get those nice smooth rips going, the extra bonus piece for if you have like a nice beaker bong like that is you can look into, oh man, what the fuck are they called? I can't remember. Red, what are the pieces that go on? Oh, it's a percolator. That's what it's called. A
percolator,
percolator.
dude, of course.
Yeah. So you can look into a lot of different
Percolates
percolators
things.
out there to really add to it. But it does change the drag on the piece. So your mileage may vary. You have to be careful on what you do. If you want an easy ripper, stay with the big bubbles. If you don't mind and have the young lungs for it, definitely look into getting a perk to go along with it.
I like the way that they aerate. It's nice.
Should go
It's very
grab that
nice.
fucking thing. Hold on, I'll bring it back. You're
But
here. I'll
yeah,
grab
show
it.
everybody. Yeah, well, the reason I like the round, so I'm a fan of these round bottoms, kind of for a reason. Skibble was kind of talking about the beaker bottom, and that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. I like the round bottom for a couple of reasons, and this one's nice too because it has something to hold on to, even though this is a little cheap model. So I like that it has the wrap, and what I like about the wrap is it's almost ergonomical in my hands, almost able to grip it, so it doesn't really fall out. I like some of them come with actually Noble Glass is kind of cool because they make these flowers that can almost be a piece to hold. But what I like about this as opposed to the beaker is it kind of fits in the lap nicely. You can't really see it, but it kind of sits in the lap. Oh yeah, shout out Pedro Grow Room in chat. You see Gorilla. What's going on, guys? What's going on, everybody? Pedro, welcome. But yeah, so I like the way that the round bottoms can kind of fit in the lap. Set like a beaker bottom, it's kind of flat bottom, sits in your lap. And if it tilts one way or the other, that beaker bottom kind of has a tendency to possibly tilt a little bit too much. Not so much worried about the water, but the bowl spilling or possibly sliding out, breaking, something like that. But that's why I really like these round bottoms that kind of sit in your lap really nicely. I wish this thing was clean, actually. Burn a little something there. Looks like Skibble had to let his pups out too. So let's see. Yeah, souvenir cups make great bongs. Yeah, I can dig that too. Yeah, I always wanted to get into like being able to reuse a ball jar or having a top that seconds as a stem and a spout to be able to modify ball jars into bubblers.
They
Seems
have
pretty
those.
simple.
They
Yeah,
make them.
yeah. Seems convenient. A nice little travel piece or something.
Look at that.
Just second your ball jar as a cup if you need to or something. Yeah, there you go.
It's nice. Um, Now, this is a 14 millimeter bong, meaning that it takes 14 millimeter bowls.
Sure, that's hilarious.
This is the high side bubbler I was talking about that goes into it for the downstem. You can see all the little holes in there instead.
I can do. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. I was thinking that you were
So
gonna. Here's another dirty ass piece here, but
here you go.
I
Wait a
thought
minute.
you were talking about like one of those little flat type of percolators
Check
like
this
that
out.
that go on the
No,
bottom.
this is an add-on percolator, right? So here's the cool thing. So this is a 14 millimeter bong, right? So I can slide this in here. The dope thing about this is actually an 18 millimeter um, female. So I can take an 18 millimeter bowl that I have way more of and drop it in there and still rock and roll just fine with it. So I fucking love glass. Again, I want to give a shout out to the cupboard. They definitely have cool ass glass and stuff online. Um, this is a black sheep, by the way.
See, I'm looking
That's who
around.
makes
I feel
this.
like I have mostly 14 millimeter.
Right,
Oh,
man.
my shit's 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about every. I have this one banger that's like it's a reverse stem.
Oh, the
So I
other
gotta get
thing.
reverse. I gotta get reverse. See, it's like a
No,
bottle.
you can get an adapter for those that
I
just
got.
drops
Well, you
onto it.
can't see it, but I got a bowl that drops on. But
Well, you can
I
get a
have a couple
piece
bowls like
that
that.
is the same on both sides. You know, the piece that you're dropping onto it, it's that on both sides
Yeah,
so that you can drop the
I
same
have
size
like
bowl in there.
I have a nail that'll drop onto. Actually, this doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not 14. Maybe this is 14 millimeter. Okay, never mind.
You can tell when you've had a lot of glass through the years is you have to
Yeah, and
remember
you
what
know what?
goes with what.
So that one's not 14 millimeter that I just showed you. The rest of them are. That's the one that's not. So that's the difference. Anyways,
Cheers.
bad example. Back to the hash, dude.
I still have
Cheers.
something left in here from earlier today, so I'm just gonna clean this up real quick.
See, Gorilla says ash catcher. It's always
Ash
good to
catcher. Yep.
implement too. Yeah.
If nothing else, keeps you from getting your whole shit thing. You know, that's the other thing that's nice about having something that's like a beaker bong like this. Super easy to clean. You know what I mean? You may want to do something else, like go to Hobby Lobby and or somewhere else that sells different size corks, and you can buy corks that are actually will just slide right into here. You may be able to find them at Harbor Freight as well. I'm not sure. And you could even get a cork that's the same size for the top. Just got to measure it, make sure, and then that way when you put the alcohol and the salt and give it a shake, 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 you don't have to worry about anything getting going splash, splash, splash. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
I
nice.
don't know if you saw about Trey. Trey cracked me up there about if you could leave your bong in your lap, it decreases sterility. I was talking about how I like the round bottoms specifically for the ergonomics of them. Being able to like sit and chill and hold them in your lap, or possibly sit like Indian style or something. It's not really like a bit flat bottom. You know what I mean?
Right?
It's got that feature that kind of just it's able to like sit and not tip, tilt and totter. Like if it was like got those like corners like the beakers do, it can kind of like eat and then catch an edge, catch the corner, end up, spilling your stash.
Dude, I have a
Um,
beautiful, humongous Luca bong, huge, with like many different wild ass, I never seen some of these percolators on that thing's got. But it's the hardest motherfucker in the world to clean. You know, since it's such a large piece, I end up having to just soak the shit out of it for like a week and then trying to see if it'll come clean because a lot of these
is that what the
style
trick
of
is? Like really like a week? Because I've gone a couple days and shit's just like I
that and
do
salt,
a
dude.
bunch of scrubbing and still I do the
Or
salt and I do
or
the
you
shake the shit
can
out of it and I spend a lot of time on it. but
You can
I've
try
never gone
stepping
a
up.
week. So
You
maybe
can
it's
try
maybe
stepping
that's
up
what I
too.
need to do.
You can get one of the other professional products and go down that road and see how it
Well, I've
works.
never gone with like even grain alcohol. Grain alcohol is even higher percentage than what I usually only use. 91 at the most is too
91
small
is
of a
what you can
bottle and
find.
too expensive. I usually just use the fucking 70.
Oh, that's where you're going wrong,
Um,
friend. Yeah, you
so
gotta.
I'm thinking I need to use some Everclear. I'm
I
just gonna
just
try
buy
some of that.
the 91 is like $4 a bottle at Kroger. That's the secret. Kroger, CVS, one of those two will
Dude,
always
my
have it.
Kroger has no ISO.
What?
I can't find ISO around me at all, dude. I had to get Everclear.
Holy
You-
shit!
Yeah, dude. There's no
And
ISO anywhere around me. I don't if it's by you. I don't know if I can go that far for ISO. Um,
I'll
you
bring
know,
you some
that's
next time I
just
see you.
yeah. It's not by me. I went the other day to Kroger and it's not in, still not in stock.
Well, it may be out
So
of stock still. You never know.
I didn't try CVS. Like I don't want to go on like a 16 store
No
scavenger hunt just for
excursion.
ISO.
No.
Yeah, dude, I have enough to get by at the moment. You know, clean my scissors and do what I got to do, cut my plants and stuff. You know, I've had some back stock that I've been working through, but shout out Daddy Red. You know, hooked me up. He made a. They basically have a cottage almost in Indiana. You know what I mean? So I'm able to get. Excuse me, clear my throat. Um, some like 190, some 95% grain alcohol pretty
Oh
easily.
yeah.
So he hooked me
See,
up with a couple bottles.
that's what I want to
Um,
do when I do tincture next because I can only get the Michigan grade, which is like what is it like 160 or some shit,
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's like
which is 80
80% or
right.
something, which is less than ISO. But you don't want to use ISO, you know.
No. Oh, the things, the things.
Jack says no ISO there either.
I
Yeah,
haven't
so
bought
that
it
kind of stuff.
since the situation has changed. But I have like fucking 7 or 8 bottles myself all the time. Because if I see it, I would just pick it up. I'd be like, I should probably just pick a couple of these up, throw them in the cart.
Yeah, I'm used to having the habit of grabbing like four at a time. Fortunately, I
Yeah,
just stocked up, you know. So I've and since this whole thing's happened, I've just been like trying to conserve and ration as much as I have because it hasn't been in stores.
well,
So
the
I
thing
haven't
about
been.
cleaning your pipes is if
That's why all these bongs are dirty. You know what I mean? I just don't have. There's not enough resources to
right
clean them all. You know. I cleaned
no,
this one. I used enough ISO to like clean this little fucker yesterday. You know what I mean?
yeah, the bigger pieces though, I mean, I'm thinking for that Luca bong would take upwards of like fucking 5 bottles of 91, dude, and that's just outrageous. Because now, what am I
So,
going to do with it after I've soaked this piece? You know what I mean? So she just stays a little dirty. And
so is cleaner more affordable than going and getting a grain alcohol, or would it be more affordable to just buckle down and just get a grain alcohol and run that
should just
for cleaning? You know.
yeah, I should really make a trip to somewhere that has it still. So it makes a difference.
Yeah, but so my main intention with the 190 is tincture, more or less full extract oil. So
Sure.
I'm debating on using the rosaberry. I think I have one part rosaberry in the other batch that I have made, but it's gone for so long that it's going to be like a very full spectrum
Very
oil.
sleepy
That
CBN.
yeah. Well, I don't I don't know, man. It's been in the freezer for a really long time. It's just been in the freezer. It's just been like I'm thinking more or less. I'm not thinking like it's been aged and oxidized or anything. I'm thinking that it's been extracted to the point where it just pulled so much fats and waxes and oils and other material. You know what I mean? That it's just done too good of a job of extracting. Like there's just everything is officially extracted into the alcohol. I could be wrong. I mean, it's just a theory that I have, but I haven't actually held material suspended in alcohol for this long. I mean, upwards of a few months, you know. So we're finally getting a new oven, so I'm going to be able to finally finish my process. But I
Oh,
was
you're finally
talking to
getting the new
Spark.
oven.
Yeah, what's that?
You're gonna get a
I'm not
new
buying a new oven. No, we're
non-broken
getting
oven.
gifted. We're actually getting gifted a new oven for our wedding, which is
If
fantastic.
you didn't catch the episode, we
Fantastic.
don't know which one it was. The oven story with Red is fucking hilarious.
Dude, I don't think I told that live. I think that might be the personal story that I only tell a few people about. The oven is a fucking disaster. There's strange random things that just kind of break and go haywire, and
So
that's
this is a big
so
deal for Red to be able to get a
huge
new
deal,
oven.
dude. Basically, I have a glass top oven that the glass on top was broken, and as a awesome like Christmas gift, I was gonna get a new top for it from my family, and like I was pretty overwhelmed by the whole thing. And then catastrophe occurred, and just before we were able to put it, thankfully, before we were able to install it, the front door of the oven got shattered. And so it ended up being kind of like, well, it's going to cost too much to repair this thing. It's going to cost more to repair this thing than just buying a new oven. And that's actually kind of a downside with modern technology, to
Oh,
be
for
quite
sure.
honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we should be able to like just fix the glass on the oven door. We should be able to repair this thing. We shouldn't
Well,
have
it
to
shouldn't
get
cost
thousand
$600.
dollars. It
Right.
shouldn't cost $1,000 to repair
Oof.
the glass in the door of this thing. You know what I mean? Because that's what it probably would have ended up being.
Yeah.
It was like half the cost of the oven just for the top alone, and then like I mean that's about what the cost of the door was. So you mean to tell me that the entire cost of this thing is the top and the door? No. There's a convection fan and there's mechanics. There's all kinds of stuff,
Well, they
but
just know which pieces people need, and then they jack the prices up on those said pieces.
exactly, because those are the ones that break. If things are
They don't
bouncing
charge you
around the
much
house,
for the little claw, the little foot that spins in on the bottom because nobody ever has a problem with those.
so a future goal is definitely we just don't have like a gas line really, so we're just using like
Right.
electric ranges at the moment. Could definitely run a gas line, but I don't know if it's really in the cards right
Uh,
now or in the
yeah.
near future or anything like that. It's kind of a big job, and I don't really want to get into at the moment. But so, anyways, shout out to the family because for our wedding gift, we're getting arranged. So pretty geeked about that. So, what's up, buddy? Enjoying the show? Theo
He's
just stepped in.
enjoying the show.
Hello. The shout out to them, man. Yeah, we had a bridal shower just a couple weeks ago. So shout out to everybody who came out there. Might even be some family who tunes into the show, checking us out. Maybe some friends and family, stuff like that. So thank you all very much. So dude, yeah, man, great times. A lot of
Count it.
support from family, especially even though we're cannabis caregivers, all of that. The whole family's down. So a lot of support on that end. Very thankful for that.
That's
It'd be a,
always cool.
it'd be a very difficult run, if we weren't, if they weren't in support of it, or even if like, okay, let's talk about I'm getting married, we're joining families. It'd be very difficult if they were anti-cannabis. Holy
Well, it would be
shit!
big time, wouldn't it?
I
That's
mean,
kind of a
it's not just. I
conversation.
mean, I don't want to say it's my lifestyle, but it is. It's basically it's my full time is working on plants with patients for patients.
Okay.
That's my full time.
Even still, aside from that, I
I
can't see
DJ
you
full
being
time,
cannabis
but
free. And so,
not
since I
doing
can't see
this.
you cannabis free, I can't see you on a bunch of fucking prescription medication either. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get it. People say, well, he's just a cannabis person or blah, 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 whatever. But there's a story that goes with that person too, though. You know what I mean? And so when you combine families like that, through the years, my family has all found out, hey, you know what? I use cannabis, man. It's what I do. But they see that I still hold down a job and I still am part of my family and everything else. Um, there's no cannabis hysteria anymore. So, but I mean, I can only imagine what it must be like for somebody else. Maybe it's like when you try to explain it to your family members and they just want to give you a bunch of propaganda bullshit back at you, man. Don't let them get you down.
I can't imagine, being somebody who's withholding information from their family in more of a way than cannabis, other lifestyles,
Yeah,
sexuality, and things like that. I mean, it was difficult enough coming out as a cannabis user, as like a non being addicted to drugs, and trying to explain all that stuff.
sure.
You know what I mean? So shout out to anybody who's like got skeletons in their closet. Because it's a tough world trying to explain yourself. Um, because we're all different. We all have like different I could say we have obviously we have different personalities, but like it's just so much more complicated than that. We have different beliefs in everything. Whether it's politics or spirituality or whatever it is. Lack thereof. Dude, it's good to just kind of be baseline sometimes and to just accept. And that's what I kind of dig about cannabis. Has helped me for the most part, and that's a lot of times like it helps me baseline, helps me get back to normal, it helps me ground myself when I get like deeply medicated. Like for example, yesterday, right, we were all out on the river and kicking it and hanging out, well, edible medicated. I had a nice amount of oil in my body, and I was able to stop and live in the moment for once. I wasn't suffering on the and worrying about the past. I wasn't suffering and worrying about worrying about the future. I didn't have pain from the past, and I didn't have worry for the future, right? So there was like no suffering. I was totally living in the moment. I was watching
Just a
dragonflies. I
dude
was
that
watching eagles
was,
fly,
yes,
hawks fly. You know what I mean? It was very zen, dude. It was a good release, and it's something that's needed, especially if you're, I don't know, at it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week or something, as most of us are. So, keep that in mind. Get heavily medicated sometimes and get away from all the stuff that you typically have to deal with. Go for a walk in the woods. Try to get away from that stuff.
sometimes you can just learn to let shit be. You know what I mean? Cannabis will make you kind of, well, I guess it's different for everyone, but for me, it's just allowed me to go, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. I'm not gonna argue with people. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Whatever. It is what it is, and it'll be what it'll be. But
Yeah,
you can't change people's minds. Don't think that being some cannabis crusader to your future in-laws is going to go over like gangbusters with them. It probably won't. Um, you have to pick the right time and everything else for that sort of thing to come through, I guess. But you're lucky in that
there's a
her
time and a
family is
place
cool with it,
also.
right?
There's a way. There's it turns into, fortunately my in-laws, they they medicate with cannabis also.
Well, then you
It's
can burn
great.
down over there. You're fine.
We can talk about it too. you know I we can talk about how it helps each other. We can talk about, I can kind of unload
Point them in the right direction sometimes.
some of that, like, old, like, Ansley angst or whatever, that you got, like, oh dude, all the old talk, just talk about how it's the old racist laws and stuff, and they understand, they understand the history because
They
they
see it
think it's
now.
bullshit. They see it now, you know what I mean? So, it's it's easy and it's acceptable, and so I'm incredibly fortunate for that, man. Like, that's like a huge thing. I totally feel like I've been in scenarios where where I've had like relationships I've been with where if they were my in-laws, we probably wouldn't get along for many reasons. But to even put cannabis on that pedestal, like, it's not happening. Like, there's no coming out of a closet, there's no coming out of the box for that one. You know what I mean? Like, many different occasions. So I'm incredible. So I know that like a lot of people are in those circumstances, and the circumstance that I have is probably pretty rare. So shout out to everybody who, I don't know how you do it, but if you manage, I can dig that, man. That's good that you're able to keep your lifestyle that way. Because I'm very open and fluent about my cannabis use. Um, and I'm glad that I can be. It'd be tough if I couldn't be, to be honest. Dude, I enjoy, like, I don't have to worry about like my house stinking or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's like the epitome of freedom, if you will. I guess it's kind of
Oh yeah.
nice. You know, if you hear all these noises and strange things going on, my dog's having an itching fit right now. So it's all hot and humid and rainy. So he's
Red always thinks
ears are
that the
bugging
noise
him.
that is on his end is as loud as us for us. That's why you have
I
a directional
the
microphone, my
mixer,
friend. It doesn't pick
yeah,
it
I
up
know
like that.
it probably doesn't. I'm sure my mixer cancels a lot of it out too. So, I hear all these hiffs and huffs and snorts and shit like that because he's over here making noises. But I'm sure I don't hear that. But ramble on, man.
Oh, Red Setter, my motherfucking dude, man. We have good times here, folks.
Give him some shout outs there, Pedro. Did you see or Pedro? I called you Pedro Skilbo. Pedro was in chat. That's what I meant.
Take it away. You're already halfway there.
I gave him a good shout out earlier, but I see Beard Man up in there and Trey, of course, and of course the Lake Unsalted Life. It was a
Be-
pleasure meeting you
Before we
the
go
other
much
day,
further, Trey, I want to say it's
yesterday.
always good to see you in the show, man. You always either dropping knowledge or making us laugh and shit. So I'm always glad to see you here, bro. Keep rolling, Red. I just had to say my little piece.
Dig it, man. Yeah, the weather gets all humid and nasty like this. His ears and shit start bugging him, and so he's down here itching. It's all nice down here, so
Damn,
so the
Red, this
I live in
fucking
like a
grinder.
duplex, right? What'd you say? Oh, the grinder? Yeah,
So
you like that?
no, I open this motherfucker and I just get blasted in the face with terps, man. Jesus.
Oh, that's always a good
Whew.
thing.
I'm telling you, man.
You get trichomes in your eyes. The old
No, 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 no. I've
no.
learned a long
Then you go
time
to wipe
ago.
your eyes, and you already got
No.
sticky fingers, and you make it
Oof.
worse. It's like dealing with hot sauce.
This shit
Chopping
continues
peppers,
to burn. All
dude.
you
I
can do is
chopped.
just keep your
Oh
eyes
man,
shut.
I chopped a pound, like pound of habaneros is like nothing. I chopped like I don't even know how many plants of habaneros I pulled. Just this massive pile of habaneros. I was making pickles. Way too many jars of pickles. More than 2 dozen jars of pickles. Um, and I wasn't wearing gloves, dude. And when I was getting into this, try to like wash my hands really really well, and I just went at it on these fucking habaneros, dude. And for I don't know, at least a week, my hands were on fire, fire, dude.
For a
They were
week?
red for 3 to 4 days, at minimum of four
Wow.
days. They were on fire, dude.
Wear
It was
gloves. Next
rough,
time you
man.
got to wear
I burned this. Oh, I wear
those
gloves. I wear
pretty ass
gloves
yellow
doing
ones.
everything now. This was probably 10 years ago. A couple of the restaurants that I worked at, it was as long as you like were washing your hands, it wasn't really they didn't require mandate gloves in the kitchen.
Different times, yeah.
Yeah, at different times. So and this was a pizza kitchen and salad kitchen and stuff, and that was it. Yeah, bare hands with salad. Yeah, totally. With the smoking station. Smoking station is like right behind me. So this is me at the salad bar. I'm salad boy. Waitresses are smoking squares, burning down and hackling and stuff right behind me. Behind me, dude. Like bumping. People are walking between us. You know what I mean? This is door right here. This is a restaurant. Dead serious, man. Doing salads. Oh, I got to bust a table. I got to take off and go bust a table in the front. Come back, wash my hands, make a salad, smoking cigarettes. I was a young kid. Turn around, puff on somebody's cigarette, wash my hands, make a salad. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Oh,
Pretty wild stuff, man.
if people didn't want to go out before this, Red,
Hey, man, I'm
you're
just
not
telling it
helping.
like it is.
Hey, man. Yeah, man.
Dude, that was like in the 90s. That was easily in the 90s. That was like 96, 97.
Don't call out the establishment.
One of my first, yeah, that was one of my first jobs. That was my first job. No, it wasn't. That was one of my first jobs. My first job was in a machine shop. I was like 13 years old, working for my family. It was fun, painting machine parts and sweeping up and stuff, shopping.
Trying to make an honest man out of you young.
Yeah, and then my first like real job was busboy slash dishwasher, line cook, and all that stuff came a little bit later. But
That's my second job.
yeah, I was young though when I started working restaurants, man. I was 13, 14.
I was 13.
Had to have like a
Science flip.
school safety permit and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't work them more than I think it was like 20 hours or some shit. Something like
Come
that.
on,
I think
come
it
on,
changed by
man.
how old
Let
you
me
were.
work a couple extra hours. Let me work a couple extra hours. Come on, man.
They're gonna give it to you anyway. Get you out at like 10 o'clock at night and shit. Fucking 13-year-old at work. Big work, man.
I don't care, dude. I mean, when you're young, you don't really care either. It's not like, I mean, I
You're
wasn't the
either,
one that's gonna tattle on more money. You know, I was, I'm
you know
okay with
what?
it.
Once you are a little kid, there's a lesson that you need to learn real quick when you start getting a job, which is you're either making money or spending money. You know what I mean? You got to spend more time doing one to be able to do the other. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you start getting a little bit of money and you want to start living bougie for yourself. You're like, you know what? I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to get a new phone. I'm going to fucking get this shit. Look at this just came out. Look at, I'm going to, I'm going to your ass, and you're just like, okay, all right now, man. You got to, you got to start,
Then you're
that new,
like, I need to start growing weed while it's 5,000 a pound. It- so I can afford my habits, and then watch that roll off a cliff real fast.
oh, you're killing me, bro. Killing me.
Dude, can you imagine like 7 grand a pound?
No.
Can you imagine those days? Remember when there used to be a thing called inflation?
Holy shit. And that's in that time's money too, bro. That shit was worth more than it is now.
Sorry, guys, that's one of my wormholes. I'm not bitching. I'm happy that there's a market. Period. I think that it's funny that, I mean, it's what happens when markets change over. But it is what it is. It's something that I do like to joke about every now and then. But it happened real fast, man. Like I jumped into it like basically when it was kind of those numbers. You know, it was like probably in the five. I mean, I don't really know. I wasn't dealing with that kind of numbers or weights or anything. But I'll tell you what, I was paying $200 for a half ounce. I was paying $400 for an ounce of weed. I could only imagine. I mean, that's 5 grand a pound. I mean, numbers, basically. So, shit, dude. Who knows what those guys were getting back in the day? I mean, that was like 2008. That was probably maybe even earlier than that, 2007, 2008.
Wow. I see some
Did
new
like
names rolling in here. I want to say cheers to Andy Man, Oscar Green. How you doing tonight? Thank you, Jenda. UK Sif, what's up? See if I missed anybody else in the roll up here. Um, we are coming up on what we got left here. We got about 1 o'clock. We got 7 minutes here before we roll out. I hope
Going
that
back to
you.
that little halfer that I had going there, Scope. They ran out of the hash bowl.
I'm back at the almost done with the deliciousness of the salad from the grow off plant, which was the pineapple Thai crossed with the strawberry D, and also crossed into that side of the salad was Spartan grown snow cane. So really, really tasty.
So because I never got a chance to, I've been really waiting on. Sorry, I'm doing any pheno hunting.
Yep.
And like I was talking about because of the whole lighting situation. Um, so that includes the grow off plants, right? So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is actually hold on to them until next season.
outdoor.
knowing that they're femmes, I think I'm gonna try to grow them suckers outdoor. Uh, now that I know what the potential is with their strawberries, they're gonna finish early.
Super short
They're
flowering time.
yeah, I'm thinking they're gonna be great
They're
for the
they're
outdoor.
finishing in the mid 50s. 53, 56. That's to me that's a fast flowering plant.
Dude, that's a good 2-season light depth plant. I might work on. I was thinking
Yep.
about working on some kind of a structure this year for next year's early season.
Like
Trying to
a
get
hoop house.
maybe a hoop house. Trying to get some early start, like something. Trying to do something on the shoulder seasons. Maybe get something in the ground in the fall with a hoop house. To like
Supplemental lighting.
like carrots, potatoes, something like that. Keep the ground chopped up and moist and whatnot.
Okay.
And then get some leafy greens and things, maybe even going throughout the winter. Some of these like cold hardies like spinach.
Well, our winters haven't been
Um,
that bad the last few. You know what I mean?
and I don't
So
think they're gonna be that bad for the next few either.
right.
Different wormhole, but we might have a good chunk of time ahead of us to kind of focus on the shoulder seasons in the winter. In the summers, may not be the best either. So it might be a good time to focus on greenhouse work, might be a good time to focus on indoor work and things like that. I don't know if you've heard anything about solar minimums. It's a total wormhole that I don't even want to get into because I'm not an expert on it.
I
But
have not.
yeah, it's like lesser amounts of sun than we normally should be getting throughout seasons and things. And it kind of inversely affects seasons to where colder temperatures throughout summer, maybe possibly warmer temperatures throughout winter, things like that, or even colder winters or more flat and out rounded winters. But anyways,
You see, High and Tight has said that they're going to use two of their seeds for outdoors next season too, and I actually have some
yeah,
left,
I
and
can.
I can see why doing that because when we were over at Doc's house and I seen the beautiful hardy branching that this fucking thing has, very symmetrical, buds are huge, smelled great, looked great. I'm like, damn, I wonder what I could do with that outdoor next year. So I really like the flavors that I'm getting too. So
Yeah, and I'm thinking that it would, not smell incredibly potent if you got a nice fruity one. So if you got to be in a small backyard, you have neighbors or something, you don't want anybody plucking it over the fence or anything. Might not be a bad plant to hide in your raspberry bushes or something. I don't think it'd be good to hide in your raspberry bushes, anyways. That's totally opposite soil. Don't do that. Never mind. Might get mites too.
it was good in first thought theory, right?
In first thought theory, because of smell, yeah, but don't do that. I actually do grow my raspberries like
They were
a little bit of
monsters
a
outside.
distant away. Yeah,
Well, that's
I
the
was
thing
hoping I was
is
going to be
that
able to show you the garden, but
well, 2020
time
Mendocino
permitting.
when they developed the strain, this pineapple Thai and super strawberry D is fucking and made for an outdoor strain. So it will definitely finish early enough. They told us that, and it has proven true. So um, definitely go check them out.
I I'm yeah, I'm pretty excited to do that. I'm excited right now to have like Rainbow Driver or something like that out there, but I'm really excited to run some of these like earlier finishers outside. Something that I know I'm going to be able to take almost full term and hopefully pull it before the rains come. Um, if we get them that late, I suppose.
That's tomorrow's wake and bake, man.
Is that
I
the
know I
driver
got
right
enough in
there?
there. Yep, I get enough for two in there. I'm gonna use one for wake and
Yeah, I
bake,
was
and then I'm
hoping.
gonna use one
At
for a
first, I
late
looked at it. I
sesh.
was like, I don't know if that's enough for a fatty or two or what, but
Get two out of
it
them because it's
yeah,
so
it was
damn
pretty much
dense.
the
It's not
bottom of
broken
what I
up
had
all the
brought.
way.
Yeah, it was like the bottom of what I had brought for the float. So
It was
and
kind.
I just go through and I kind of just pick out the larf for myself. I'm like, what's
Yeah,
larf? Let me get something that's I don't have to spend any time trimming or anything. I'll pick the bigger sugars off of it and toss it in a baggie for myself. And I don't know if there's that even means an acronym, but I always thought it was light and really fluffy, LARF, light and really fluffy. but I never knew if that was like an actual acronym for anything at all. But that's the light and really fluffies right there for you.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I was thinking while you were saying that, I was like, do I know what that means? If I did, I don't anymore.
Heard of it a long time ago, and I was like, oh, that's what it means to me. So it's definitely light and really fluffy.
And with that, we'll roll up here to the end of the late sesh. Some
Dun,
light
dun,
and
dun.
really fluffy talk.
If you enjoy, hit that thumbs up. Light and really fluffy.
Red, you got anything for him before we go?
Oh yeah, I want to thank everybody for the float coming out, and it's a pleasure meeting everybody. Everyone who got to hang out with, man. Especially you, Sequence. Happy birthdays. Dude, abolished Miss C for putting it together. Most importantly, that was a awesome little put together. Miss C and abolished, they did a lot of work gathering people and making sure the herd was in place and all that stuff. So shout out to all you guys, man. It was a really cool, successful little thing we did. So really cool, man. Shout out to Michigan Grow Show. And like I said, Daddy Red, Mama Red, in laws, and all them, whole family. Everybody rocks. Chat, cannabis community.
That's it. I'm not going to use any more time.
Peace
Definitely
for you.
go check out Eagle Gardens right
Go
now
check
after
out
we get
Eagle
off the
Gardens.
stream. And the next time that you can catch us, we'll be on the Bro Show live Sunday nights at 9. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Did I just skip over the Wake and Bake with the Groskis at Thursday mornings at 6 a.m.? I almost did that. My bad. Until next time, I'm Scuba One.